Today on the show, we're actually going to have the first part of a three-part series about Bravely Default. The first part is going to cover the development history of Bravely Default. If you didn't know that the game was originally released in Japan as Bravely Default Flying Fairy, then this show is for you. So Bravely Default, my personal favourite game for the 3DS at the moment. It was originally released in Japan in October 2012, but then an upgraded version was announced. It is worth noting that this upgraded version is the only version Europe and America got. This upgraded version would be released in December of 2013 for Europe and Japan, and would eventually hit US stores in February of 2014. This made me happy on a personal level because there aren't actually that many games that get released in Europe before America, so it's nice to see it when it does happen. So we will be getting into the differences between the original version and the upgraded version later on in the video, but first I want to talk about how this game came to be a thing. So this game was originally conceived to be a sequel to the DS game Final Fantasy The Four Heroes of Light. However, Square decided they wanted to do something a little bit different with this game, so they decided to give it a new IP, so not to confuse newer Final Fantasy fans. They did want Bravely Default to be connected to Final Fantasy in themes, however, so you do see a lot of aspects of Final Fantasy games in Bravely Default, such as the reoccurring themes of crystals and airships. The release name in Japan was actually Bravely Default Flying Fairy. The Flying Fairy's double F actually pays homage to Final Fantasy's double F. Lots of people were wondering what Bravely Default actually means, but it was revealed that Bravely Default is the nickname to the main theme of this game. The main theme of the game is to do what you feel is right, not what other people tell you is right, not what some book tells you is right. Do what you know in your soul is right. I personally really like this theme. Our world is going through a massive change at the moment, and people are scrambling all over the place to figure out what's right and what's wrong. And a lot of people are coming to the realization that they have to do what's right for themselves and not what other people tell them that's right. So this theme is actually very fitting for what's going on in the world at the moment, and that's something I can always respect. Another aspect of this game that I liked is that every single character was designed to be likable. No one was designed to be totally evil, which again is something I can totally respect. The main challenge of this game is that they wanted to make it a traditional RPG, but not an old-fashioned one, which was especially hard considering the majority of the development team were actually Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy fans, and as much as their ideas were good, they had already been done and needed to be ignored for the most part. The director of the game really wanted to create something new using the traditional format, not something that was created just to give vibes of nostalgia. Apparently, a lot of these Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest fans' ideas were nice ideas that had already been done, and as a result, they just felt like the game would be forgotten in 2 weeks if they used any of these concepts. The game brings a lot of new twists to the traditional format, but probably the most prominent one is the battle system. So basically, during a battle, you can select something called Default to store something called battle points, or you can select Brave to attack multiple times in one turn. But say like you had 0 battle points, and you selected Brave twice, you would go into -2 battle points. If you have -2 battle points, you actually have to wait 2 turns before being able to attack with that character again. You can have a minimum of -4 battle points, but personally speaking, I never go past -3. This idea is actually based off of those really annoying bosses that got to attack twice in the same turn. By doing this, it actually allows the player to attack twice in the same turn without being totally overpowered. This idea actually adds in a whole new layer of strategy and really helps the game distance itself from the Final Fantasy IP and lets it stand on its own 2 feet and not need the crutch of Final Fantasy. I think the 3 most prominent RPG elements are the world map, random encounters, and my personal favourite, a job system. The job system in this game seems to be loosely based off of Final Fantasy V's in that the more you use a job, the more abilities you get, or the more abilities you get access to. You can also get something called support abilities, which are abilities you equip, and they're like physical attack plus 10% or auto potion, and this is a system I really love. As always, support abilities do cost a certain type of points, but the more you progress in the game, the more points you get. A new system that I think is really clever, and I really love it, is the summon friend system. Basically, you can street pass people or friends that you already have in your 3DS, can send out an attack, and you can summon that attack in battles. It's good to summon friends that are already in your 3DS more than you summon friends that you've street passed, because the more you summon a friend, the more they grow in affection, which means the more powerful their attack is going to be. This system is really awesome and really useful, and I really wish my friends would send out attacks a lot more often because I'm stuck on a boss at the moment. It is worth noting you do have two sets of levels. So you have your character's level, and then you have your job level. So as always, the more you use a job, the more it grows in level. But there is a system called the ab-link system. Basically, you can do something called ab-linking your friends to a character. Say like my friend had a level 14 summoner. Well, I could ab-link my friend to a character, and then equip the summoner job to a character, so that character would then be a level 14 summoner. It sounds really confusing, but when you see it in the game, it's really not, and once again, it's really useful and really innovative. This game actually utilizes 3D in a very smart way. All backgrounds are hand-drawn, and the way towns appear is actually like a pop-up book, and then your character is a polygon character traveling through this pop-up book. There's also scenes when your characters interact with one another when you're traveling around the world map. And this system is called the party chat system, and it's very similar to the Tales of skit system. Now there is an everlasting minigame in this game where you're trying to rebuild a village, and it works a lot like Facebook games. Basically, every time you pass a person that has Bravely Default, or for every friend that you've got in your 3DS that has Bravely Default, you get a villager in this village. So you can tell one villager to go and open up a blocked area in the village, and that might take 99 hours. Whereas if you had 10 villagers unblocking this area, it would take 9 hours. To make the system worthwhile and a thing that you should probably do, you can actually get some of the best items in the game by using this system. We won't really be getting into the characters or the story or the setting of this game, but it is worth noting that this game takes place in a medieval style world. It has kingdoms and kings and queens, and it is awesome because it really takes the game in the direction that I feel the Final Fantasy series should have gone. So, as I said before, this game was actually released twice in Japan, and the second time it was called Bravely Default for the sequel. Now, the second version included some upgrades, including but not limited to battle speed up, auto battle, and 2 additional save slots. Now, I know what you're thinking, and the auto battle system is nothing like Final Fantasy XIII's auto battle system. In fact, the only thing it's actually good for is grinding. In April 2013, Nintendo announced that the game would be released in 2013 in Europe and 2014 in America. However, it was later announced that the game was pushed back till 2014 for Europe, and then it was announced again that the game had been brought forward to 2013 yet again. The official Western title of Bravely Default is actually Bravely Default Where the Fairy Flies, but that's only really present in European titles. Also, the Western version changed some aesthetics of the game, like making characters' outfits less revealing, which I personally think is really stupid. This game has death, violence, anarchy, and corruption, and that's a-okay, but this girl wearing a bikini? Disgusting! In December of 2013, it was announced that there is going to be a sequel to this game called Bravely Second, which I am really excited about because this game really takes the Final Fantasy series in the direction that I feel it should have gone. It's super effective! Okay guys, that is it for today. If you think I missed anything about the development of Bravely Default, please let me know in the comments down below. And also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more history. And also don't forget to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Video Games, and it is super effective.